Good Tuesday evening, everyone, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. Adam Blankenship and Scott Hardy here with you from the 6 to 7 o'clock hour. And we appreciate you tuning in as you do each and every Tuesday from 6 to 7 as we bring you some local action as well as our thoughts on some national topics around the state and national topics as well as some things going on around the state. But kind of give you a rundown of some things that we're hopeful that we'll be able to talk about tonight. Again, we'll break down some local action, basketball as well as the BRHS wrestling program and what they were able to do this weekend in a tournament in Auburn, as well as talking about Tom Brady and the performance he's had this season, as well as some of his antics on the sideline last night and whether or not he receives a double standard comparative to some other players around the league. We'll also break down some of our bowl games that we're looking forward to, and also we'll talk about the Dak Prescott versus Tony Romo controversy that has now been thrust upon us by, it looks like more so the media and Jerry Jones, but I think if you watch some of these games, there's been a lot of commentary regarding that. And the thing I'm looking forward to the most tonight,
I was about to say you can't avoid it.
Yeah,
I knew you were trying to, but
I was going to try not to talk about it, but Adam and I, as we talked about for the last month or so, is we're heavily involved in fantasy football, and this week, Adam and I are each other in the semifinals of our United States of Football Fantasy League. This is our 15th or 16th year in this league, so very established league. But
as nerdy as that sounds.
Yeah, it's as nerdy as that sounds. But if you guys recall a few weeks ago, Blank actually defeated me in what was a game that I guaranteed a victory, so it did not occur. So we're going to try to come up with a wager, and maybe we could get your help with that. 256-234-6221. Try to come up with a wager between the two of us and try to figure out some type of way to reward the winner of the game. And again, this segment is brought to you by Langley Funeral Home, and we appreciate them being a part of the show. But Adam, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's I was trying to
figure
out
if
it's raining. I was
yes.
trying to figure out if it was rain or if it was the air conditioner. So, but yeah, man, everything's good. Excited about the show. I feel like we got some good information to talk about tonight and some pretty important topics, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I love, and I know we've kind of hinted around for it since you've been on the show, but and with Michael being the producer, some of these times is that we have a very close-knit group message that we have, and a lot of the things that we discuss we think are pretty relevant, and we've never really had a forum to really talk about some of those things. So we're going to try to incorporate a lot of our ideas and thoughts into some of what's going on the national scene, and whether it be recruiting and to a small bit. We won't get into too much because we'll leave that to the guys for 7 to 9, but just giving a different take on some things maybe that maybe you wouldn't hear on another program. But
yeah,
I'm really excited about it.
I have to say I'm excited about it too. Football, high school football is really our big thing. That's really what we go on every week, really break down into the state, all local teams as well. But that's kind of finally behind us now as Super 7 everything was going a couple of weeks ago. So we can kind of roll into a new type show, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think what we're going to do right now is give a little bit of our flavor in the next couple of weeks and see how that kind of goes. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, and again, we still want to do our best to try to cover any of the local things that are happening. So if there's and right now in terms of City League sports, we're in a little lower right here, and youth league basketball will start to take place. We are in the midst of youth wrestling, so we are working on something with the administrators of Alex City Youth Wrestling to get some of those wrestlers involved. Actually had a tournament in Birmingham this weekend. We had some guys do really well there, some younger guys, so hopefully we'll be able to get them on the show. But again, last week we had Main Street Urgent Care and Dr. Wags, and so if you're a sponsor, you'd like to come on, or just anything in general from a youth or a local level sports, whether it be Alex City, Dayville, New Site, or anybody in the listening area, we'd love to cover that. But this time of year it is a little difficult to cover those types of things, and so we try to do our best to give you information regarding local sports, but we do have opinions on some of the things on the national side as well, so we'd love to infiltrate that portion of the segment or sports media medium as well, and hopefully provide us an opportunity to relay some of our thoughts on that.
And also too, what we're going to do with some of our interviews when we have these coaches on and some of our sponsors on, stuff like that. We're going to talk about the things that they have going on that's important, but we also want to kind of dive into their head a little bit and see how they feel on some of these topics. So I'm excited about the new direction we're going to kind of go with this. I feel like it'll be a lot of fun. We also learn a lot about some other people too. So
absolutely, and we'll try. or we'll talk about it in this segment as well as some local things and kind of dive in on the Benjamin Russell side in particular. But hopefully we'll be able to catch up with head basketball coach Jeff Hines for BRHS Wildcats tonight. But if not, we'll try to catch up with them next week as they have a big rivalry game against Central Coosa this Friday, which will lead us into some of our local action and kind of give them a recap of the season so far. I have the opportunity to do the PA for those games. And so I will say that basketball, it has a different feel on any level, but high school basketball, I think, is pretty fun. You get the student sections involved, and we have a pretty adamant and exciting fan base in terms of high school students. The Hines Hooligans, they do a great job for our home games, so I've thoroughly enjoyed that, Blank.
I have to ask you, have you gotten comfortable in the role?
Oh, we're good. Oh, we're
where,
good.
Like, you can kind of roll with a little bit?
Yeah,
and make it fun?
I actually got in a little trouble. I got a little too excited. Benjamin Russell played Central Clay last week, and so Gerald Wallace's son actually plays for them, and he put up a pretty good show, and it was a game that Benjamin Russell lost at the buzzer. But I got a little too excited, and the rules are you can't really talk while the game is going on, and a big play happened, and I kind of let my emotion slip there.
Would you say, "Ooh, Gerald Wallace"? What do you think about that? Is that what you
something very similar. Something very similar.
Gerald Wallace, you can't do that. Yeah.
But no, it's become really entertaining, and obviously the fans and the players are certainly they let me know when I've said some funny stuff or not, or if they want me to change it up a little bit. So in terms of nicknames and things, I got something special planned for Friday for the Central Coosa game. This will be the seniors' last opportunity to play them at home, so I'm gonna try to do something pretty.
I'll have to
pretty
say,
cool for them.
When it comes to Central Coosa and Ben Russell in basketball, you got to go. Like you've got to go at least once or twice and watch that. It's because of the amount of people there, the energy that's in the gym. It's so much fun when those two teams get together. Because Central Coosa has some of the most talented players or guys you'll see, no matter year in, year out. They always have some guys that can jump out the roof. Like I said, I think I hit on the head with the energy. I mean, it's wild. So that's something definitely you got to check out.
I'm looking forward to it, and again, kind of just giving a recap on this past Friday. The Wildcats traveled to Dayville, and the boys won 68-37, bringing their record to 2-5 on the year. They actually 2-4. They actually lost a game to Smith Station last night, 70-55. But Smith Station ranked number 5 in the state, so. Number 3 in the state, rather. So they're a team that we've lost to twice, but they're very talented, very long on the perimeter, some great shooters, and so they're really well coached. But we've played well for the most part. But in the win against Dayville, leading scorer Shannon Woody, who has been one of my favorite players to call. He's really a hybrid player, somebody that can play in the post from a high school level. A lot of times when you're growing up, if you're the tall kid, you automatically get sent to the bottom. But he's probably one of our taller kids, and his range is Steph Curry-like. He wears number 30. When I say that, I'm not even like if he shot from half court, I would feel comfortable with him making it. But he had 18 points in that game, and Quinn Reese as well, who's been a Lake Martin Area Player of the Week a couple of times for us here. He had 12 points, and again, this is outside of Benjamin Russell Coosa. The Benjamin Russell Dayville game is always one that draws a big crowd as well. So it was heavily supported on Friday, and so big win for our boys there traveling down to Dayville. But they're really starting to hit their stride. I know their record, they're 2-5. They lost last night, but if you look at some of the teams they've lost to, they lost to a Jeff Davis, a Central Clay, who has a premier player, and Jared Wallace's son, Flournoy is his last name. I can't think of what his first name is.
Stud receiver, too.
Absolutely. So I was talking to some of the people.
Big kid, long
He's got
kid.
a chance. Do you know they were saying he was getting highly recruited, but you hear that from the hometown crowd, and you don't necessarily know. But they were saying that your Tide was potentially looking at him.
He is. I mean, he's that type of athlete. Whether basketball or football, I mean, he's just, you can just tell that it's natural to him,
Absolutely.
And then you mix that with the size, then of course he has a chance to run with it, for sure.
Yeah, and kind of just wrapping things up on this local portion.
Question though.
Okay.
You have any kind of, you have a scouting report on Central yet?
They are normally a team that is very good. You have to specify now. They're a team that likes to shoot from the outside, but this year it's been a little different. They try to get you more on the interior, which really, for the amount of size that Benjamin Russell has, they have a center, Tay Johnson, who's about 6'4". Justin Tuck's nephew, Jaden Tuck, he's about 6'3". So some guys that can bang a little bit with you on the inside, which is what you want to get in a physical game. But I don't think that they want to play with Benjamin Russell on the perimeter like that. This is the best shooting team that Coach Hines has had since he's been there, and so that's
Nice.
saying something. They've had some guys going, and we'll try to give you an update too. Also, Ronnie Stacy, a former Benz Russell player, is one of the major players for Oklahoma State, and so he's somebody, Oregon State, and he's somebody who actually got player of the game a couple of weeks ago during their game. So we'll try to give you as much numbers on him going forward. But on the girls' side, I've actually thoroughly enjoyed, and I don't mean to say actually, I didn't mean to say it like that, but you know, the speed of the game is so much different in girls and boys basketball. But for this team, Coach Latricia Moon, who went on to play collegiate ball and had several of her players in other schools where she coached going to play at Florida State and some other big name schools, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Georgia. So she's had some girls going to the next level. So we're really pleased to have her here. But they get another victory, 57-31, and they were led by Hope Westbrooks, who is a sophomore point guard. That team is very, very young. I think they have 2 seniors on this year's team,
Wow.
so they'll be continually getting better.
It'll be fun
It's gonna be
to keep up with
fun.
them for sure.
It's gonna be fun. But they we're going that's Coosa game Friday again. I encourage everyone to come out for that. And wrapping things up on the local side, our BRHS wrestling program traveled to Auburn for the Swede Umbach, which is the annual tournament they have in Auburn every year. We finished 8th out of 20 teams, almost 20. I think there were 19 teams. So good showing there. And we had Brooks Parker, who placed 4th in the 145-pound division, going 4-2 on the weekend. And Saxon Coker placed 4th, who is a freshman, 138-pound division. So that's the name on the wrestling side. Saxon Coker is going to be a state champion before he leaves here.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And we had the opportunity to have the wrestling coach on about a month or 2 or 3 months ago, maybe October-ish. And he came in talking about the values and stuff that he's trying to set with this program and everything. And I feel like the wrestling team is definitely going to get better, and especially as the season goes on. And I heard the same thing about Saxon. I heard he's really good.
It's really good. But that'll wrap things up on the local side. But if you have anything that you'd like to talk about locally, some questions, and we'll do our best to answer them. But when we return, we'll break down our thoughts on this Tom Brady quote-unquote controversy. And it's something that comes up quite frequently, but there are a lot of Brady apologists who use certain terminology to make it okay for some of the things he's done, especially the sideline antics we saw last night against the Ravens. But we'll go ahead and take our first break of the evening. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show right after this.
If you currently have an FHA mortgage, this commercial is for you. Most people that currently have an FHA mortgage are working with Home Place Mortgage to refinance their current loan. Several items have changed to make now the perfect time to refinance. FHA has reduced the amount of monthly mortgage insurance. Current interest rates for FHA loans are at all-time lows. FHA has eliminated the need for new appraisal. Most people will be able to refinance with little or no closing costs. This is the opportunity that you have been waiting for. Call now to start saving.
To the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
We have a promise to keep with this community, our pledge of respect for your family and your needs in every funeral arrangement.
A funeral is a time that calls for consideration.
For that reason, we won't consider anyone else.
For a full range of funeral services with sensitivity, compassion, and respect, call Radney Funeral Home at 256-234-2511 or Langley Funeral Home at 256-896-2571, your hometown funeral homes.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process, from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
At USAmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, USAmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit USAmeriBank.com or your local branch to discover the USAmeriBank difference. USAmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Jackson Refrigeration is Central East Alabama's Alabama Power superior solutions dealer. With rapid response time and on-budget pricing, we're Central East Alabama's and the area's authorized Goodman heating and air dealer. We make your peace of mind easy and give you peace of mind when it comes to your heating and air needs. As a superior solutions dealer, Jackson Refrigeration can help save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Jackson Refrigeration works on all existing brands and units and has the team to solve your heating and cooling needs, no matter the season.
Yamaha is beating the field in just about every category of motorsport products, offering unbelievable performance, handling, features, technology, and at prices that are blowing everyone's mind, especially the competition. Visit Twin City Yamaha on Stage Road in Auburn.
Hi, this is Scott Tway with Twin Cities Yamaha in Auburn. Isn't it about time to put some fun back in your life? Call us and see what we mean. 334-821-0439 or on the web at www.twincitiesyamaha.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us here for segment 2 of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. And this segment, again, is brought to you by USAmeriBank. And as always, we appreciate them being a sponsor of the show. So for any of your banking needs, make sure you check out the good people over at USAmeriBank, really doing some great things within the community. So we appreciate them being
Tell Kevin Speaks we say hello.
Yeah, and it's a nice sock game, which apparently he got from you.
He did.
Which he got from you. So
speaking of, I got my snowman on today.
Oh, wow, guys. Jeezy the sock man.
I got the snowman on today.
But we, as we alluded to prior to going to break, Tom Brady and the Patriots get a big-time win last night, winning by 7 points, obviously against the Ravens on Monday Night Football. But
that's not important.
That's really not the important part
we don't
of
care
that.
About
we do care about Brady, though. But
no, we don't.
Well, yeah.
You don't care about Brady either.
I know you don't care about Brady, because that happens to be my fantasy quarterback as well. So
but I don't have a problem with Brady in this situation. My problem is with the media and sports writers in general.
So I feel like we're going to have a disagreement on this one, which is part of the program.
I don't think we will. I think we're kind of on the same page.
But we, if anybody who's watched NFL football for a while, at least been observant of some of the things Tom Brady's done over his career, he can become pretty animated when things aren't going his way. Now, when he's fired up, and on the other side, he's the same way when something positive has happened. But when things aren't going his way, a route is run poorly, or a fumbled pass, or something along those lines, he lets them know, and he can be, kind of a butthole sometimes in terms of how he treats people on the sideline. And last night, the camera caught him very furious, and he had already said something to Chris Hogan. Told him some vulgar language to get on the field.
Flailing his arms.
Yeah, throwing water bottles.
His helmet, throwing his bottles, cussing, slamming stuff on the bench.
I personally don't have a problem with what he's doing.
Me neither.
But how the reception within the football community or sports media in general, how typically it's handled, you hear certain things like with Tom is, he's very passionate. He's a fiery competitor. His will to win is very strong. He expects greatness from others, and that's fine. But let's say it was a T.O. or even a more recent example you could give, Beckham, or even Des Bryant. Des Bryant, I've heard it several times from Des Bryant about, he's too aggressive, he's selfish, too emotional of a player. And I just don't think, I think there's a double standard when you talk about Tom Brady and when you're talking about other people. And I'm not trying to imply there's a racial component at all, because I think that if Peyton Manning just in that type of person, he wasn't that type of
Aaron Rodgers gets the same treatment.
Aaron Rodgers does get the same treatment, and I'll say that. So
because that's what I was going today. I was looking at it, I was thinking, please don't let it turn into a racial thing. Please don't let it be. And then I started looking around and seeing other things, and I see in some of these other guys too, to where it made me feel like it was just specifically Brady that gets the preferential treatment from the media. And I got some quotes here I was going to show you. New York Post headline, Odell Beckham's mood swings are killing the Giants. USA Today, Giants Odell Beckham losing grip on reality after losing cool again versus Vikings. And in that article, this was the final sentence in that article, okay? And I'm going to kind of show you the differences here. It says, if that's the truth, then Beckham might just be hopelessly out of control rather than a young, incredibly talented player who's still learning to control his emotions. As Giants coach Ben McAdoo publicly pleaded for him to do aftermath of last week's failed assault on a kicking net. And that's after he punched the net, okay? Cam Newton, it's time for Cam Newton to lose his pouty attitude. Aaron Rodgers, is Aaron Rodgers' personality causing the Packers' problems? All of these from ESPN, USA Today, Fox Sports, Chicago Tribune, all of these things are the same headlines that everybody wants you to do. Whenever Brady's doing the same thing, there was one article today on Yahoo that even mentioned Brady's blow-up that I saw. And this was the last sentence of the article right here. It says, this game had a playoff-like atmosphere, and Brady let his emotions loose very early in a big game. And it might be working, too.
See, that's...
Are you kidding me?
All right, well, first, do you think it has more... So it's...
Why is that acceptable?
Is it so specifically Brady? I mean, I guess it is. I mean...
We'll say this right here. It's because he's won 1,000 Super Bowls, and he's MVP and everything else. Cam Newton's the MVP. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. He won the Super Bowl. Odell Beckham's arguably the best receiver in the game. So, all right, so other than, 4 Super Bowls, what's the difference? I guess it says
which, I mean, I guess that, but it's still, I don't think that the same thing, I guess now on the other end, I guess you could say, now specifically for football, but if you wanted to translate it over to another sport, in basketball, people said, it was the same thing with Jordan and with Kobe and their expectations of their teammates and how they responded. But I don't think you ever saw such visible contempt for your other teammates. And so if Des Bryant goes to Tony Romo, or in this case Dak Prescott, and we'll touch on that a little later in the show, and says, listen, I need the ball, like I'm beating him, like he's fired up saying I can beat this guy, there's really no difference in him doing that and Brady saying, Chris Hogan, you ran the wrong route, hey, get yourself together. So like that, it's the exact same thing. And so I'm a huge Patriots fan, love Bill Belichick, and I'm a Brady apologist for the most part, and I really don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with the double standard that you see within the media. And as we get a text there about Odell Beckham, our buddy Kyle Graveman, who said that he would give us a call a little later, but my impressions of Odell Beckham have definitely changed over his career, but it is a little disheartening, I think, because the media paints, and you brought up Cam. That's a great example because there are two people who are playing the exact same position and can't do the same things.
Speaking of Cam, all right, this is 2 quotes right here, okay? One's by Cam, one's by Brady. One of them, Cam was absolutely blasted on, and everybody probably knows what I'm going with after the Super Bowl. And the other one was one that was in a huge write-up on Tom Brady and his greatness and that kind of stuff that hardly ever got mentioned. And I'm going to go into them, okay? The Cam's kind of a little bit long. It says, I've been on the record saying I'm a sore loser. Who likes to lose? You showed me a good loser, and I'm going to show you a loser. It's not a popularity contest. I'm here to win football games. I've said it since day one. I am who I am. And I know what I'm capable of and know where I'm going. All right? So that's kind of, I cut it short a little bit. But here's a quote from Brady that hardly ever got mentioned. I never even knew existed until today. And do research. It says, I'm a pretty good winner. I'm a terrible loser. And I rub it in pretty good when I win. But as soon as I lose, those backgammon sets, I broke so many backgammon sets. I've dropped elbows on them. I don't know. It's like I wish I had a punching bag nearby sometimes. If Cam said that, what would have happened? If Aaron Rodgers would have said that, because I'm not going to go that direction, but
I just
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Part of it with Brady, and then I think about too with Deflategate and the saga that went along with that. Could any player have really, had that been any other player in the NFL, I think that it shut down completely. It would have it wouldn't have been a huge ordeal. It would just be like, listen, that's what it is. But Brady gets the benefit of the doubt. But it's because he is the face of the NFL for the most part. The Patriots, now the Cowboys are America's team. But the best team and best run franchise are the Patriots. And so I think part of it is the Patriots, and because they're in Boston, it's a national, one of your bigger and one of your larger markets, they get so much more press anyway. So Brady has been on the good end of the media. He's handled the media about as well as you could. So I guess he gets a little flack, or I guess he gets a little slack there in terms of some of the things he says and does. But if you want to tell me that last year Cam's dabbing or his dancing in the end zone is poor because you're showing your kids like poor sportsmanship by celebrating after a touchdown, there is no difference than when Julian Edelman stopped on his route last night and Brady overthrew him, and he was so animated and you could tell he was disgusted with him. Had Cam, there's no difference in Cam putting the towel over his head and Brady doing that. So there is a double standard, and it's not a racially charged thing. To a certain extent, maybe the description of what Brady is doing compared to maybe what you see from an Odell Beckham. If Brady had kicked that net or whatever, it would have been like, oh wow, it was.
You see how determined he is? Like, he's just so upset. You're talking about a guy, and yeah, he's great. The league loves him, yada yada yada. You're talking about the guy who is at the center of an investigation of one of the biggest cheating scandals in the entire league history. Okay, if any other quarterback, like you said, you hit on the head. If any other quarterback would have been caught up in that, they would have suspended him for life.
Oh yeah, it would have been a whole different thing. You're right there.
Ever again.
You're right.
But you know, and that's fine. And my thing is I'm not against the emotion. Okay, it's raw, it's natural. The thing about sports, which I love the most, is unlike everything else, like reality TV, it's all scripted now, okay? Everybody has to be politically correct with everything. But in sports, it's raw emotion, and you see it as it happens, okay? They don't have time to prepare, okay, well, if I fumble right here, how am I going to react so everybody can see this and do that? We're seeing it as they're seeing it. So all you're seeing is how they react in that situation. And if you saw a lot of people do that with things that happen in their life, they're going to show out too. Absolutely. So I have no problem whatsoever with the show of emotion. My thing is if we're going to cover this, we're going to criticize people, let's be fair about it. Let's criticize everyone and not give a guy like this a pass. I mean, you can't say praise this guy and then bash the same guy, bash another guy. It's just, you can't do it.
Well, speaking of bashing, it looks like Dak Prescott has the love affair and honeymoon stage with the Cowboys as the starting quarterback. After 11 straight victories, they lose to the Giants. One of their only two losses this year coming to the same opponent, so there could be something to be said about that. But what we'll do is take a break, and when we return, we'll talk a little bit about this Dak Prescott and Tony Romo controversy at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. More of the Late Morning Sports Roundup show right after this.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Get the best seat in the house for every game this football season. Upgrade that old recliner for the comfort of FlexSteel from Holly's Home Furnishings. Stunning styles, incredible comfort, and FlexSteel's signature blue steel construction. At Holly's Home Furnishings, we offer a variety of different fabric and leather options, plus state-of-the-art power recliners. Come in and score big today with Holly's Home Furnishings' unbeatable selection and unbelievable everyday prices. Family-owned and operated Holly's Home Furnishings, located in Alexander City and Montgomery.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Choosing a new roof or having to repair your roof can be very stressful. Preferred Roofing knows when it comes to your roof, you need not only the best product, but more importantly, you need a reliable and trustworthy roofing company to install it. That company is Preferred Roofing. Working for both commercial and residential properties, you can trust our licensed and trained roofing contractors. Don't wait any longer. Call us today at 334-202-5483 or contact us on the web at preferredcontractorsllc.com.
Is the love affair over? Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboy fans, and Dak Prescott and the national media.
There's never a love affair between Dak and I, though.
No, you've been since Dak was at Mississippi State, and which I'll preface that when Dak entered the league, I didn't think that he would be anything like this. And I got a couple thoughts on this, and I think that Dak's a really good quarterback. He surprised me, and his skill set's a lot better than what I thought. But I think that if you put him
on the Bengals,
let him play with the Rams. Okay, say he's golf. Say he's golf.
No, put him with who else is up there?
Say he's with the Eagles.
Put him on the Raiders.
Raiders. Okay.
10-4.
Okay.
Put him on the Patriots.
Okay, fair
without
enough.
Brady.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, and I
put him on anybody good.
I think that
Falcons.
I think that he's benefiting from a lot. One, the offensive line for the Cowboys is tremendous. One of the best offensive lines, if not the best. Them and the Raiders, I think, are the best 2 offensive lines in the league. But the Giants exposed them a little bit, and they lost week 1, obviously, and they lose in week 14. That, to me, isn't necessarily an indictment on him having to lose the job. However, the talk has already started whether or not Tony Romo should be the starting quarterback
instantly. I mean, it was crazy how
in
fast.
real time it was happening.
Twitter was blowing up.
Which is why I love Twitter. Sports were made, like Twitter was made for sports. That's what it was made for. But I'll ask you this. Do you think that well, first off, do you think that Dak should be in jeopardy of losing his job? I'll ask you that first.
Not now, okay? I think if they were going to pull Dak, they should have pulled him as soon as Romo was healthy. I understand that he was, 1 loss at the time or something like that.
11 straight wins.
But if you're going to do it, you got to do it then. You can't do it now at the first test or first bad game or first loss since week 1. You can't do it now. You just can't do it. I'm just not sold on Dak as a quarterback in general. I got some numbers for you.
All right.
You let me know whenever you're ready.
I'll let you
go ahead and get your
bombard me with the numbers because I know you go come with Dak. But I'll say this. I do think that Dak, his skill set is tremendous for this offense, and it helps that he has a quarterback guru like Jason Garrett as his head coach.
He has the best running back
and
in the league.
It helps that Ezekiel Elliott, who I think
league.
is a great running back, but maybe if you swapped him and Gurley, he would struggle just as bad with the Rams, and Gurley would be doing the same thing with the Cowboys. So he is benefiting. But right now, numbers would suggest that he's going to be the NFL rushing leader as a rookie. So he's already surpassed.
An example of that is DeMarco whenever he was with Cowboys, then going to the Eagles.
True. Absolutely true there.
That shows you how good the offensive line is right there.
So. Do you think, on the flip side, I do think Dak deserves to keep his job. I don't think that this should be any sign of him losing it. However, do you think that Romo is the better option for the two, for them to be able to win like they would like to?
You're talking about Tony Romo has 3rd highest passer rating in the history of the game right now, okay? So that's pretty strong right there.
People hate Tony Romo, though.
It's because he can't get it done. And I think if he didn't struggle in the playoffs as bad, that it would have been the day he came back. But with his struggles in the playoffs and not being able to win and get the Cowboys even to the Super Bowl, then it makes it a lot easier for Dak. It makes it a lot easier. But
go ahead. I want to hear what you got.
I want you to just listen to some of these numbers on Dak, okay? His last 5 games, he's thrown 4 touchdowns, okay? One against the Bengals, who has a suspect defense. One against the Bears, who are terrible, and 2 against the Niners. Didn't throw a touchdown against the Giants or the Redskins, okay? All right. This is his number versus playoff teams this year, okay? I went through and looked at all the playoff seeds and everything like that. This is his numbers. First of all, let me do this right here first, okay? They haven't played Atlanta, Seattle, Detroit, New England, Houston, Kansas City, or Oakland this year. Every single one of those lead their division. They've played 2 playoff teams all season long. That's Pittsburgh, which is like week 5, and they won that one, and they lost the Giants twice. That's the only 2 teams they played that's in the playoffs at this moment. All right, so his numbers versus playoff teams: 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 237 yards per game, 1-2 record. All right, so how can you sit here and say that Dak is the best option when he hasn't played against good competition? If you look at their schedule, it's unbelievable how lucky they've been the entire season to have the schedule that they played.
And if I'm not mistaken, the number popped up yesterday when they got the ball back on that final drive. I think he's maybe had 4 or 5 fourth quarter comebacks, and so a lot of that, he's ended up making the plays. Don't get me wrong, I can't diminish the plays he made to get them in a position to win the game, but they've had some close games, and you make jokes a lot of time about it to Kyle Graven, who his brother obviously played at Mississippi State, so he's got a little invested interest in Mississippi State.
Loves Dak.
Thinks he's tremendous, and I think he's a great quarterback. But I'm not going to say great. I think he's a very serviceable quarterback who's in a good system, which a lot of times maybe that's all that matters is the system you're playing in. But if you're Jerry Jones, I think at the end of the day, I've gotten to be where I'm a little more number driven in terms of how my decisions are made. You still are on the book for $55 million guaranteed in Tony Romo. So logically, you're a little more invested in having Tony Romo as your quarterback. So if you go down, at least let it be for the guy that you're paying $55 million to. Exactly. So I think, but Jerry Jones is who ultimately has created this whole circus because he wouldn't come out. Now Jason Garrett came out yesterday and did say, you know what, this is our quarterback and will be for the foreseeable future. But Jerry Jones has been like, well, you know, maybe Tony Romo needs to be ready, or maybe this and that. And so, at some point, there needed to be something. He needs to step away from the organization, if not in terms of. I think his visibility
just get out of the camp, get out of the limelight.
Your team is playing well, and that's why they lost. I'm telling you, the conversation started because they were like, well, you know, they could lock up the number 1 seed, maybe start to sit Dak, let Romo get some starts to keep everybody healthy, and then what happens then? What if Romo just plays lights out then? Exactly. So you're just creating unnecessary conversation in terms of who needs to be the quarterback when you just won 11 games in a row, and the only team to beat you was. Now, granted, it's your division rival, and they do have a formula of success against great quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are playing well. They made the Cowboys look really silly. But on the flip side of that, the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys defense is good. The Cowboys team as a whole is good enough to win with Dak at quarterback. But I'm not sure at any moment, you know, we kept looking for it to happen with Alabama, and it kind of happened a couple of times. But when you have a freshman quarterback or you have a rookie quarterback playing, at some point they're going to look like a rookie quarterback. Yeah. And he's had moments on Sunday, where he absolutely looked like that, and he held the ball a little too long, and things that maybe when you're winning, you don't really necessarily recognize as much. But when you lose a game the way they did in the scoreboard, they didn't score any points in the game compared to how they have been. When your best receiver only gets 2 targets, you're not going to win the ball game there. So a lot of his routes, you've talked about it, a lot of underneath, a lot of screen passes, and so his down the field production hasn't been what you would want for somebody who you want to have as a Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, and you hit on the head with saying whenever you're winning, it kind of covers up a lot of these things because check this out. He's 20th in passing yards a game in the league. He's 27th in completions a game in the league. He's 25th in passes over 20-plus yards or more. And he's 30th in pass attempts a game. So they've been using this rush game, who is second. This team is second rushing in the league. It's like 156 yards a game rushing, okay? So they've been eating off of that the entire game, and their defense is 5th in points allowed.
I know we're up against a break, but I ask you this. They have a tough matchup, in which is one of the hottest teams in the NFC right now, the NFL in general, but the NFC in particular with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Jameis Winston and that offense are playing tremendous. The defense is top 10 in the league. If they lose next week,
it's going to be fun.
Is there a changing of the guard at that point, you think? Because I think there's going to be a playoff. I think they're going to make the decision. I don't think Dak Prescott is the quarterback when the playoffs start. I don't think so.
Really?
Then they could lose out. I actually could think. Wow. I think the Cowboys could lose out, and the Giants could win out and end up winning the division. This whole thing.
I think the Giants are hot. I think that game yesterday was just, or Sunday was just. You're going against, like you said, one of the hottest teams in the league on the road in the snow. I mean, you're a dome team in Texas. You're not used to that. So I kind of ran into a buzzsaw right there with that. But that's strong to say that you don't think he'll be the quarterback.
I don't think so, because if they lose a game, they've already, the reaction to this game, they lost 10-7, and I'm going to get in trouble by Purdue. I'll tell you what, we'll finish up.
If Romo is 100% healthy, nothing wrong with him whatsoever, you got to play Romo there.
All right, we'll let it ride.
We'll come back to it, though.
What we'll do, all right, guys, we'll take another break, and we'll return. We'll finish up this Dak and Romo conversation, as well as talk about a few of the bowl games that we're looking forward to, and kind of some of our highlight games. I've got 3 in particular that I'm really interested in seeing. And to close out the show, we'll talk a little bit about the United States Football Fantasy Football League. More of the Late Morning Sports Roundup show right after this.
We have a promise to keep with this community, our pledge of respect for your family and your needs in every funeral arrangement.
A funeral is a time that calls for consideration.
For that reason, we won't consider anyone else.
For a full range of funeral services with sensitivity, compassion, and respect, call Radney Funeral Home at 256-234-2511 or Langley Funeral Home at 256-896-2571, your hometown funeral homes.
At USAmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, USAmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit USAmeriBank.com or your local branch to discover the USAmeriBank difference. USAmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. We are your dealer for Nature's Miracle state-of-the-art water filtration systems, providing sales and installation of systems for your whole house or under sink. Join our Diamond Club and enjoy many benefits and services while saving money and getting priority service scheduling. We offer financing, and our services include a 1-year satisfaction guarantee. All our technicians are trained, background tested, drug screened, and wear photo IDs to ensure your safety and peace of mind. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service, always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Attention bow hunters and archers. Archery Connection has 30,000 square feet of wall-to-wall archery. Bows, crossbows, and hunting supplies. Purchase a bow or crossbow and receive free service for life, free archery lessons for life, and 1 week of shooting on our indoor range. Video Archery, or our 45-yard indoor sight and range. Archery Connection is your one-stop shop for all your hunting and archery needs. Come see us at Archery Connection in Phoenix City, Alabama, where hunters and archers connect.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too, so be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on the Sports Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show. Adam Blankenship and Scott Hardy here with you for another 15 minutes or so. I do want to pass along a quick note. Our good friend Johnny Nolan came by the studio to let us know that our JV girls basketball team here in Alexander City for the Wildcats are 12-0. So congratulations to them so far on a great season. And again, they've been in competition all week. They had a big win against Smith Station last night, so a big win for them as well. But we would like to welcome to the program a good friend of ours, Kyle Swograveman, a Dak Prescott apologist.
Dak Prescott apologist, I'm about to say. Go ahead and tell us, Swoe. Say it.
I mean, Romo had arguably just as good as offensive line and just as good a running back a year ago, 2 years ago, with the same wide receivers they've had for, 6 years? And I didn't see him pulling off 11 straight wins.
Hey, who was talking about?
And you were talking about experience. Who has he got experience in losing playoff games? Because he hadn't won one yet, has he?
Well, Swoe, let me ask you this. What do you think that Dak, let's say Dak and the Cowboys lose to the Bucs next week, and say he has a game like he did last week and he has 2 interceptions and he's 17 for 37 buck and change and passing yards, and they lose the game 14-10 again because they can't move the ball and they figure out a way to stop Ezekiel Elliott, then do you make the change? Do you think, I guess basically what I'm saying, does Romo provide a better opportunity for them to win the Super Bowl than Dak Prescott?
Well, if y'all were talking about how good Ezekiel Elliott's carried the Cowboys, wouldn't he do the same thing with Romo at quarterback? I mean, Dak's not losing them ball games.
I know. I agree with you.
All year.
I agree with you.
Now, if he struggles next week, then I think there's some cause for concern, yes. But I don't think you should pull him after one bad game, because what if Ezekiel Elliott goes out there and fumbles it 3 times? Is he going to worry about his job in jeopardy? I mean, you can't mess with somebody's confidence like that. I mean, but I will say this: he does poorly against the Bucs, then I think you might start seeing Romo in the game a little more. I don't know.
If you do that,
I don't know if you should pull him all together, or if, I don't know. You can't really go with a 2-quarterback system in the NFL. I mean, that just never works out. But I think if he does poor against the Bucs, then I would suggest probably maybe a change for. I don't know, if you say a game or two and Romo does bad and you put that back out there, what does that do for his confidence that he has 2 bad games and then Romo comes in and struggles? What do? Do you keep flip-flopping all year? I mean,
here's my thing, Swoe.
That's a dilemma you got to worry about.
You hit it on the head when you said you keep riding Ezekiel Elliott. So why wouldn't you do that and then have the option to hit Dez Bryant deep and stretch the field a little bit, which will even create more room for Ezekiel Elliott? I think I heard a stat last night that he leads the league in most runs before being touched after 10 yards or something like that. So, I mean, why would you not use Romo and stretch the field even more and create bigger lanes?
Because you're winning ball games right now. I mean, you got
win, baby.
To the same team.
Hey, did you hear my stat about how I haven't played a playoff team?
20-yard pass all year. I mean, he's hitting some passes downfield, and now is as many as Romo? No. What if, say, Romo throws those deep passes and they get intercepted instead? Are you saying, well, a 5-yard pass from Dak would have been a much better than that 20-yard pass attempt that Romo just threw for an INT?
I get where you're coming from, Swoe, but I think what Blank's saying is, and what most, I guess, from national pundits are saying is that.
I know what Blank, I know where you're going with it. I get it.
I just think the downfield offense
has a better,
is not as available as it was.
Probably a better arm than Dak. And so he's going to be able to hit that, and your defense is going to have to look for that more. Right now, the defense is probably keying on short passes and the run game from the Cowboys.
Well, hold on. Before we let you go, though, I do want to ask you this. What do you think about Lane Kiffin? I know you're a big Lane Kiffin fan. What do you think about him taking the FAU job?
I'm glad he got a head coaching gig. He deserved it. I would have liked it been Houston or a little more high-profile one. Yeah, probably. But, I mean, he when in college football, it's what have you done for me lately? So for 3 years, he's done great for Alabama. So, I mean, he does good. Give him 2 years or so at FAU, and if he does good enough, I think he, makes that into an even bigger job. I mean, people will have a short-term memory loss when it comes to the college football, when it comes to coaches especially. So, but I'm glad he got a head coaching job. I'm glad he's staying through the playoffs.
All right. Well, good deal, Swoe.
Good call, Swoe.
We appreciate you calling in, bud, and we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to give you that matchup of Holly Grove and Tuscaloosa Dirty D's.
That's what I've been waiting on all day.
All right, Swoe. We'll holler at you later, man. Thanks.
No problem.
That was a good call from Swole right there.
Yeah, we appreciate the call.
He come with some facts.
Yeah, he's passionate about his boys.
You can tell he keeps up with it. So, and that's why we all stay together and talk so much, I guess, in our group chat.
But
because
we're going to get ready to end this segment and get you prepped for Sports Blitz Live from 7 to 9 with Luke, Andy, and Randy. But before that, Adam and I have a big fantasy matchup we'd like to discuss before we end tonight's show. So we'll go ahead and take our final break of the evening, more of the Late Morning Sports Roundup show, right after this.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Meet the new Met of East Central Alabama, David Chabot. By new Met, we mean MetLife Auto and Home. With MetLife's 146-year reputation and David's 18 years of local insurance experience, you and your family get the best coverage rates and service for auto, home, life, or business. Ask about MetLife's Grand Protect policy. If your home were destroyed by a covered loss, MetLife pays the full replacement cost. No depreciation and no cap. That's the peace of mind that only MetLife can deliver. Meet the new Met, David Chabot of MetLife Auto and Home, 334-321-7250 or davidchabot.metlife.com. Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
Got your eye on a new Nissan? It's time to zero in on huge savings at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. 0% financing is back in a big way on many of your favorite Nissan models, but only for a limited time. Buy today and save up to $11,000 off MSRP on remaining 2016s as we make room for the 2017s. Get up to $5,000 off MSRP on the new Rogue SL or 0% for 72 months. Just click it and pick it now at lynchnissan.com. Lynch Nissan of Auburn, I-85 at exit 51.
My parents got good news the other day. Mommy and Daddy were really happy. This is how happy they were. They were actually dancing. That was hard to watch. Ooh, at least they didn't kiss.
Russell Medical Center, delivering future leaders of tomorrow, today.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Back to the final segment of the Sports Blitz Late Morning Sports Roundup show. And this segment is brought to you by Radney Funeral Home, and we appreciate them, as well as Langley being a part of the program, as well as USAmeriBank and the rest of our sponsors for this great program. And we've enjoyed having you with us from the 6 to 7 o'clock hour. But we've been priming it all show. Again, Adam and I are in a fantasy football league that we've been together. Let me give you the real number here real quickly.
Show up next Tuesday? Season. Will you show up next Tuesday if I beat you this week?
I'll tell you what, if I lose to you in fantasy football this week, I will wear a Alabama shirt.
I'm not doing that.
You're not going to wear an Auburn shirt for me?
Man.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I
gotta dress up as Dr. Wags. about that during the show.
Then I don't know how the rules are really on that one. But all jokes aside, this is fantasy football for a lot of people. I was always a pro football watcher, but I didn't become a fan of pro football really until I got involved in fantasy football. And it brings a whole new light. You know, the third or fourth string receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, and when some of us have to play that one apparently this week. But
you've done a lot of this season. You play a lot of. You actually have the third string receiver for the
I do. Vikings. So that's what I mean. You know those types of things.
True story.
I'll kind of give you a rundown of what my lineup is going to look like for going into this week, and a lot of this hinges on the availability of A.J. Green. But Tom Brady at quarterback, Spencer Ware, LaShawn McCoy are my two running backs, Antonio Brown, Cole Beasley, Jarvis Landry, and Taylor Gabriel. Looks like Cole Beasley will not be in the lineup this week as well, guys. Adam Thielen will be supplementing him in my lineup. But
you're sitting Beasley? Is he hurt?
Well, because Dak hadn't really been throwing the ball a lot lately.
So, here's my other question for you. Are you going to start A.J. Green?
If practice reports come back strong tomorrow, his first practice in a couple weeks, if he is able to get on the field, I am going to absolutely start A.J. Green.
How confident are you in him?
I'm 100%. If he's on, I'd rather have an 80%.
You know, he kind of lets you down in the playoffs.
He has, and that's another thing, guys. I've been in the finals or made the championship game in this league 4 years out of 9, and I've yet to win a championship. At one point, I went 3 years in a row. So it's just one of those things where, or 2 years in a row rather. But I've got 0 rings. We're also in a baseball league where we've been in that one 15, 16 years as well. Adam won that one last year. So he's got the uppage on me right now in terms of fantasy. But we really just wanted to highlight this, kind of do something fun at the end. And hopefully we'll have a wager done by the next Tuesday, and we'll keep you posted on there.
Well,
so
enough about you, man. Let's talk about mine for a second.
I don't care about your team, but no, go ahead, sir.
Keys to my game. Jameis Winston versus the Cowboys on Sunday night. He's got to play well. He's been kind of iffy. I got a lot of confidence in the boy at all. Just tons. I think he can do it. I think he can bring a championship home to us, but he's got to play well. Freeman, I got Devontae Freeman, and I got Tevin Coleman, the same team. Splitting carries, splitting catches, splitting touchdowns is driving me crazy. So I got to kind of play both of them at the same time. So I'm kind of worried about that. But they're playing the 49ers, so I feel good about that. And the last one is, do I play Golden Tate versus the Giants or Willie Snead versus Arizona? Stafford has the finger thing, so I'm kind of worried about that.
Well, either way, this will be the last nice thing I say about Adam for the next 4 or 5 days.
I'm a good owner.
Great year so far, but Holly Grove Hardy Boys taking Tuscaloosa Dirty Devils down. But that'll wrap things up. Adam, I'm really enjoying the new format of how we're trying to implement some things. And if you have any suggestions of some things you'd like for us to cover, please let us know, and we'll do our best to do so. But that'll wrap things up here tonight. For Justin Clayton, our producer, Adam Blankenship, owner of the Tuscaloosa Dirty Devils, I'm Scott Hardy saying thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Here at my office, we want to be different than the big city billboard lawyers